princesses! Today I'm going to be talking about the Peripera Airy Ink Velvet Spring 18 collection. I have two other videos about the other sets of the Airy Ink collection and I will list them down below. So there is the original one and then the Fall Winter 17 collection. And then fairly recently they released the Spring 18 collection, which unfortunately consists mostly of oranges. If you guys have watched my reviews before, you will know that I do not really like oranges. On my skin tone, I just don't think that they are that flattering. Luckily these ones are kind of like peachy and corally. This is supposed to be pink, but for me that's like a coral. So that's fine, and there is a really nice plum as well. So in this video I'm going to talk about the Spring 18 collection. After that I'm going to show you some dupes for the Spring 18 collection from the rest of the collections, and then at the end I'm going to swatch all 15 shades from the entire Airy Ink collection. I'm not sure if Peripera are going to be adding more colours to this collection. Their original Ink Velvet line only has 15 shades, which is why I think maybe this is going to be it, but I don't know. This seems to be a very popular collection for Peripera, so maybe they will make more in the future. And I guess if that happens I'll just have to keep swatching them, although my lips are actually dead, and because they're so pink it's making this lipstick look even more pink, which I am actually a fan of. It looks really pretty today, so maybe I just have to like roughly exfoliate my lips 15 times before putting it on every single time I want to wear it. It's a little bit much to ask, but it's a pretty colour. So the product description says, lip lacquer which makes your lips a flower-like bloom with smooth and soft velvety touch. An airy, weightless texture, but you can get bold colour and moisture. The packaging of the Airy Ink Velvets is the same as the rest of the Peripera ink collections. They have a small doe foot applicator that applies the velvets very easily. The spring collection has 5 shades and 4 out of 5 shades are either orange or orange toned. If you haven't seen reviews by me before, I really do not like orange shades on my skin tone personally. I do not think that oranges are ugly, I just do not like them on me. Pinkish Grapefruit is a bright orangey red shade. This shade is very similar to Apricot Carl, and you will see these shades compared soon. This is a very pretty shade and it does look nice on my skin tone. It has that tangerine orange shade that is flattering on my skin, but it's still not a shade that I personally reach for. Bloomy Orange is an orangey orange shade. Orangey orange doesn't seem like a very descriptive description, but what I mean by that is that it is the shade of an actual orange rather than being pink orange or red orange. This is literally the least flattering shade on my skin that I think I've ever seen, but it is a unique shade for the collection, and I couldn't find a close shade match through the other shades. Apricot Carl is a pinky red orange. This shade is very similar to Pinkish Grapefruit, but it is a little bit more orange in comparison. For me, I would call this a peachy coral rather than an apricot coral, but peach and apricot are similar colours, so I guess I'm splitting hairs on that one. As usual, I love the formula of the Airy Ink tints. They suit my lips the most out of all of the formulas in the ink line. Rose Pink is a beautiful coral shade. I was so excited for this shade, but it doesn't look like the promo pictures, again. This shade looks more like Apricot Carl's promo photos because it's more of a coral than it is a rosy pink. I am disappointed in that because the Rose Pink promo photo is absolutely gorgeous, but this shade is still nice, it's just not what I was expecting. These velvets are quite scented. They smell very sweet and very floral, which I actually like, though I can taste them when they are freshly applied, which is a little bit unpleasant. Bright Plum is a beautiful sheer berry shade. This is another shade that I was super excited for, but it doesn't match the promo photos. The promo photos are the same tone at least, but it is shown to be much deeper. I do like this shade, but it is hard to layer it up to get an opaque colour. These velvets last pretty well on my lips. I can wear them for up to 5 hours without eating or drinking without reapplication, but they fade gracefully and reapply easily too. There are a couple of dupes within the Spring 18 collection from the same line, so all of the Ink Velvet tints, which I find quite interesting because 15 is not a massive shade range. The dupes are not exactly the same, but they are very, very similar in colour, and I think a lot of people probably won't need all of them. The first dupes are pretty orange pink from the initial collection, Pinkish Grapefruit, and Apricot Carl from the Spring 18 collection. Pretty Orange Pink and Pinkish Grapefruit are pretty bang on dupes, but Apricot Carl is surprisingly close too, especially considering that it's in the same collection as Pinkish Grapefruit. Elf Light Rose and Rose Pink are very similar, but with slightly different tones. Elf Light Rose is a little bit cooler and pinky, while Rose Pink is a little bit warmer and more like a coral, but in general they do look quite similar. Legend Brown Red and Bright Plum don't look similar initially, but they are actually pretty similar when they're shared out. Legend Brown Red is a little bit more pink and Bright Plum is a little bit more of a berry shade, but when they're applied to the lips and shared out, they almost look exactly the same. These are the most different out of the dupes, and I think a lot of people would want both, but they are pretty similar, so if you only want one, I think that these ones are ones that you could choose either or. Here are the swatches from the entire collection so far. There is a great shade range, though some of them are a little bit repetitive. The shade range is so pretty, but for me it's a little bit heavy on the oranges, the peaches and the corals for me to absolutely love. But I do love the Airy Ink Velvet line from Peripera as a general line. I feel like the Airy Ink formula works the best on my lips. It looks really flattering on dry lips, and if you have any lip flakes, which I definitely do, and lip wrinkles, it does fill them out nicely and it doesn't emphasize them, but they still don't look very shiny, and it is a little bit more unusual to have a matte finish that doesn't make my lips look like wrinkly prunes. I personally find that they last pretty well on me as well. Like I said, I can go up to 5 hours without eating or drinking and I won't have to reapply them even if I've been talking or doing other activities. Just to clear up confusion, by other activities I mean playing the flute, because part of my job as a music teacher is to play the flute. And in general throughout the whole line I think that there's a really lovely range of shades, although some of them are not my cup of tea, like all of the oranges from this collection or the very brown tones from the fall winter collection. I can appreciate that other people like other colours and it's not just all about me. One point for Peripera in general is that I really wish that they would make their promotion photos more realistic and not as altered. In the promo photos there's never any texture on the lips, and this means that if you're looking for an Airy Ink Velvet, if you're looking for the Cloud Velvets, if you're looking for the Ink Velvets, they all look the same, so you can't tell the difference between the three formulas, and I find that to be a little bit problematic, but not as problematic as how different the colour of the actual product is. If you're advertising something that doesn't look anything like the actual product, I have a problem with that. Some of these are similar, so Bright Plum looks similar to its promotion photo, but not the same, and that is true for the line in general. They are similar, but they are not the same. They are not as bad as the Cloud Ink Velvets, which were like on a completely different level in terms of the colours, but it is still really annoying. And I think that it is a little bit difficult because as a beauty blogger, of course, I'm going to get the shades regardless, but if I was your average consumer, I probably wouldn't get 15 of the same line, like unless I really liked them, but I would go for the colours that I want instead, and I would have picked Apricot Carl and Rose Pink, but the reality is that Rose Pink looks like the promo photo of Apricot Carl and Apricot Carl looks completely different, so I would have gotten products that looked totally different to what I actually wanted. So it is something to think about, and I hope that having all of them swatched here today for you with the same lighting on the same face is a little bit helpful if you are going to be choosing some of the products. But other than the promo photos not accurately representing what they are selling, I absolutely love the Airy Ink Velvets, and they are definitely a line that I would recommend to princesses who have drier lips because I find them personally to be very flattering. And the Spring 18 collection I would recommend to any princesses who really like oranges, peaches and corals, because that is what it is heavy on. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I will see you next time. Bye!